What's going on, everyone? It's Mike, it's John, and this is the news show with the intro music you don't like. Yes, people, welcome to the news show. It is John, it is Mike, and we are here to talk transfers. And what a fantastic transfer window Everton Football Club had, bringing in all the required players that we need. There's going to be a few different opinions tonight. So if me and John try to punch each other 106 miles away, then I apologise. John, over to you, brother.
Yeah, looks like people are losing sleep and pulling their hair out over our transfer deadline day. And listen, I've reiterated on here, it is nice to get new faces in. It's a fresh voice in the dressing room. It freshens things up. But fuck me, it is what it is. I've seen Everton Football Club get called amateurish over the last 24 hours because of our transfer dealings. The transfer dealings ended up like they did because there was a change of manager in January. Now, it's obvious Sean Dyche had his targets lined up with the director of football because we were very close to signing Ernest Nuam. David Moyes come in after Sean Dyche was relieved of his duties. That move didn't happen. So obviously David Moyes had different targets in mind. We couldn't get them over the line. Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself and say we're safe, because we're not, mathematically we're not. But I think since David Moyes has come into the club, we've seen enough from this squad of players that David Moyes has had for like 3 weeks. I've seen enough to be confident that we can stay up. And I know people, including you, Michael, and I've agreed with you just saying, what happens if Betto gets injured? The way Everton are playing football at the minute on the front foot more, and we're playing good football. You look at the goals that were scored the other day. The ball was through the channel for Betto. And Dyer's very capable of playing in that role the way Everton are playing. I ain't losing any sleep that we only brought one player in on transfer deadline day. The freaking group have been in the club a matter of months. The manager's been in the club a matter of weeks. We know Kevin Thelwell can sometimes not be very good at his job. Summer's the big one. Why go and waste money on a striker when we can put it towards our summer transfer kitty? And listen, I was screaming on here the other week under the previous manager that we needed 2 strikers. Seen enough from Betto. Even if we don't get them performances for the rest of the season, you will get decent performances from Betto the way we're playing. It was proved the other day. So everyone, just take a chill pill. Calm down. And let's just go with what we've got. It's as simple as that. We're here now. We've got what we've got. We've brought Charlie Alcaraz in. Let's see what he can do. But I honestly feel we've got enough in the squad without spunking money for the sake of it. I think we've got enough in the squad to see us over the line.
I was hoping we were going to disagree. I thought we were going to, but no, I don't disagree with anything you've just said there. And I think it was more wishful thinking about bringing back a striker. Everyone knows my thoughts on Richarlison, and whether that was doable or not, who knows? But it might be doable in the summer, etc., etc. So look, yeah, I get it. I get the reasons why. I get saving the money and using it for the summer. I get all of that. I do think we're light up front, and I think we're light irrespective of even bringing in another player or Betto or whatever, because I don't trust now that Calvert-Lewin's had one injury, he won't have another. This won't be a reoccurring thing. I suspect it will be. And Broja never can stay fit. I feel sorry for Broja, by the way. I'm not digging him out for that, by the way, but he just can't seem to stay fit. So that's my worry. Now, Betto against, I don't know, a lot of Premier League teams I'm worried about. But you are right in saying, John, you are right in saying, I'm not so worried about Lilliman and Jai being played through the middle. I'm not worried so much about, even McNeil coming back from surgery and maybe going back on the left. As you've rightly said, we've got the new lad Alcaraz in who will play in the middle. You've got Lindstrom on the right. We've got goals from centre halves. We know that. So, yeah, I think you're right, John. I think we have got enough. I think we have got enough points, and I think we will stay up. Agreed, 100%. But it was just almost that little fairy tale, David Moyes coming back and all of that. It just would have been nice to have one of those. It sounds silly, but I woke up at 3:00 in the morning. The first thing I checked was Everton, just in case they did a Fellaini. No one knew about it, and it happens at like 1 minute to 11, and I'd fell asleep. But it was just wanting that feeling more than necessarily wanting that player. It sounds silly, but
so you wanted us to waste money for the sake of it.
That's exactly what I wanted, John. Yeah, I wanted us to shed loads of money for the sake, just to appease Michael's mood. That's what I wanted. Just to,
like more often than not on transfer deadline day, I've been glued to the telly. I've even put my earpods in and driving around and listening to Sky Sports News through my phone. And I just had nothing about me yesterday, apart from the fairy tale that we both thought could happen with Richarlison. I never really once thought that we would get anybody else in apart from Alcaraz. We weren't really strongly linked with anyone. The Tom Fallows deal looked like it was just a passing comment by someone, and maybe you know more about that than me because you're closer to where he's from and you know people. But I wasn't really confident yesterday that there was more than one player coming in. I really wasn't. So I'm not as disappointed and disheartened and deflated because we only brought one in, because I never expected more than one. I really didn't, because I've seen enough in the last 3 games under David Moyes. Even if Betto does get injured, I've seen enough that we can put better performances in and possibly nick a goal here and there just to get a 3 points every now and again to get us over the line. I wasn't really arsed that we only brought one in.
No, mate, it's fair. It's fair. And look, all jokes aside, I'm completely with you. If that means Everton can spend an extra £35 million in the summer, happy days. Happy days. Happy days when we're rebuilding. We've got all these players out of contract. Prices tend to be overinflated in January. Yeah, happy days.
It's a shit window. I said to you yesterday, remember 5-10 years ago, transfer deadline day, it was good to watch. You had soft-ass Jim with his yellow tie on, and, your phone was pinging. You were checking Twitter every five minutes. And I think the January transfer deadline day, mate, is done. Manchester City spent more money than every other 19 clubs put together.
Yeah, to be honest, it's they've killed. PSR has killed the January transfer window. They used to put a big thing, didn't they, about the amount of money Premier League clubs have spent, and it'd always be like stupid money, like £1 billion. There's none of that anymore. There's literally none of that anymore because PSR has destroyed it. We don't really know what it's going to look like in the summer because there's this transition into something else potentially, and we don't quite all know what that is. But there would have been certain clubs that were happy yesterday with the business that they did. I think Wolves would have been fairly happy with the business they did. Aston Villa, I think, certainly would have been happy with the business they've done in this window. Players like Asensio, I mean, he's a player that I rate him so highly. And, I know he's maybe struggled at PSG, but he's going to walk into a Villa side. They've signed Marcus Rashford. You can just see the ambition from Villa. Now, it can work both ways, can't it? We've been there. We've signed players and we got it wrong and we went backwards. The same thing could happen to Villa. It could happen.
Just to follow on to that, I know it's not a Villa channel, but Aston Villa are playing 3/4 of Marcus Rashford's wage. And for me, he's a bad egg. He is a bad egg, mate. And I'll be honest with you, and I'll probably get shot down in the comments by the majority of the people here. If Everton got offered Marcus Rashford, I wouldn't be over the moon about it because he's a bad egg, mate. His social life rules his head. He mixes with the wrong people. his attitude absolutely stinks. And, Ten Hag seen right through him, didn't give him a chance. Amarin's seen right through him. He hasn't been given a chance. What does that tell you? It's down to him, mate. And I just think his attitude towards football is piss poor.
Fair enough. I also wanted to mention our new signing. Obviously it's important we talk about it. We have spoken about him a few times, but it's worth talking about what happened last night. Because let's be honest, right? The news broke, I think, on Friday, or it might be Saturday, that Everton have agreed with Flamingo, and Flamingo basically come out and said that he will play for Everton going forward. We then find out it goes all the way to having a deal sheet put in to finish the negotiations. Now, I don't know the reasons behind that. I haven't sat on social media today, so I don't know what happened. But what a mess.
I think it was Flamengo, his parent club, jumping the gun. I don't actually think the deal was done or as far along as what they made out. They were spouting it everywhere. Good luck to him. You go into the Premier League, you're joining Everton. And I actually don't think the deal was that far along. I think the deal probably started to happen Saturday, Sunday, and he had his medical Sunday. So, he mightn't have even been in the country, Michael. And this is the thing, the deals, we had to put a deal sheet in because that runs till 1 o'clock. I actually don't think it was advanced as what a lot of people thought. And I think that was Flamengo giving everyone false hopes that the deal was practically nearly done when it wasn't. I think that was probably the hold up. Probably something else. Could have been something to do with his medical, how much Everton are paying. It could be anything like that. But I was expecting an announcement last night about 6 or 7 o'clock. And I think I was in bed 10:15 or something like that, was it?
It was later than that.
Yeah, I think Flamengo built Everton fans' hopes up more than what they should have been, because I don't think the deal was advanced when they started posting it on social media.
Yeah, I mean, he is a good player. Let's scrap all of the mess that was happened, and I'm interested to see what Everton's take is on that transfer, but we'll never find out. And you're right. A lot of people have mentioned about Kevin Farewell and the lackluster almost approach at times with certain signings, bringing back Jack Harrison, signing Neil Maupay, etc. There's a few examples. But a lot of the players he actually signed this summer have worked out quite good. Jake O'Brien looks a good player. Enjoy looks a good player. Betto, when you put the ball in front of him, has looked a good player. So I'm not saying I want to keep him. I'm not saying that. But maybe he's not as bad as I thought he was. Do you get what I mean?
Do you know, I want to just finish on Alcaraz. So there was a comment put on today by someone, and it looked like supporters from Flamengo were commenting on it. And one of them put is, we've got a great player with attitude. He can be a bit hot-headed at times. He's only young and he could be well worth in future 50 million quid. So, is the fans do rate him from his other club. Going on to Kevin Thelwell, listen, me and you have dug Kevin Thelwell out on this channel a lot. And we're not the only ones, mate. You go through social media, you listen to other podcasts, you listen to other YouTube channels. We all have. And I'm not going to stand here because I'm standing up, look, see. I'm not going to stand here and blow smoke up his arse. But in reality, Kevin Thelwell's hands have been tied with transfer dealings, and Jack Harrison, 24-month loan. I always say, and I'll say again, shite. Jake O'Brien didn't get much of a chance under Sean Dyche. He's shining under David Moyes now. He's done some good signings, but he's done some poor signings. Neil Maupay, mate. I mean, another bad egg. Do I think we've been a bit harsh on Kevin Thelwell? Sometimes. Possibly. Now, it will be interesting to see if he is given another contract come the end of the season, because his deal is up come 30th of June or whatever it is. What he does with money. It will be interesting to see what a Kevin Thelwell can do with money. If I had my choice, he'd be out the door, and I'd bring someone in like a Dan Ashworth. I think Dan Ashworth with these owners and a manager like David Moyes would work really well. But then on the flip side of that, David Moyes isn't used to working with directors of football. Do the freaking group just get rid of Kevin Thelwell, let his contract expire, and not bring a director of football in? You know, because we're going to have a new CEO. Maybe he will work close with David Moyes. Davy Weir may come in from Brighton. He's been linked with the club, not as a director of football, but to sort of work in the role he's got at Brighton now, if he would come back to Everton. It's a brand new project for a lot of us, mates. You know, David Moyes, the new owners, a new CEO, someone to work close to David Moyes if it's not a director of football. It's a project that this club can sell now, a brand new stadium, hopefully Premier League football. So Everton do become attractive in the summer. You know, and it's like an open purse compared to what we've been used to in the last couple of years. It is. So it's going to be interesting. Be interesting to see if David Moyes does want to carry on working with a director of football.
Fair. I was just reading an article about Alcaraz. And I'm going to read it. I'm going to read some of it. I'm not going to read all of it. This isn't story time, everyone. All right, don't get it twisted. This is not story time. However, Southampton fan and podcaster Tom Parker says Carlos Alcaraz is a talented footballer and back to the Argentinian midfielder to get a few goals for Everton. 2 years ago at Southampton, Alcaraz signed at the St Mary's and scored 4 goals in 18 Premier League starts. He was the only bright spark in a Southampton team that got relegated. They went down to the Championship, and for half the season he played at Southampton, and the other half he played on loan at Juventus. In the Championship, he scored twice. At Juventus, he made 10 appearances and scored two goals also. He could be a very astute signing, or they could be getting someone who's a bit of a footnote. Now, I don't quite get that last bit, but what I will say is there seems enough about this player that David Moyes has looked at him and gone, I reckon we can work with that. And we've seen what David Moyes can do with these types of players. He's skillful. He's got a goal in him. He can carry the ball. I think he's more of an 8 to a 10 rather than a 6, which is fine based on the Everton team. Are you looking forward to seeing someone who will play in that gap, who's maybe a different option to Decore, John?
Well, yeah, I think there's a lot of players out there who'd be a better option than Decore,
including Michael D.
Yeah, but he doesn't miss open goals. I'm excited to see him, and look, with them stats that you've just put on, and obviously David Moyes has watched his videos on, and we hadn't been linked with this player up until David Moyes come in. So obviously he has seen something that he thinks he can work with, and he's got till the end of the season. There is an obligation to buy if he does hit certain targets with appearances.
I think it's 8 starts.
Yeah, 8 starts, you know, and listen, if he can start 8 times over Decore and chip in with the odd goal and have the odd assist and get us excited, because I think he'll work well with Ndai, you know, and as we pointed out before, the way Everton are playing on the front foot now, he could be a player that fits in really, really well. We've got till May. And if the obligation to buy is there and he does make them 8 starts, then I'm not too sure how much it's going to cost. Is it 20 million?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's 20 million these days? You know, you look at some of the signings that David Moyes done in his first stint for hardly anything, and look what they become. So David Moyes has got an eye for a player. We've said that since he's come into the club on here. Just give the lad a chance and see what he can do. Does he throw him in the cup game? I don't know. As I said the other night, I think he'll start with his strongest team possible. But I do think he'll get some minutes and we can just have a look at him then. But I've got no problem with someone coming in with an obligation to buy if he makes 8 appearances for 20 million quid.
What are you expecting from a player like that, John? Like what does success look like for you?
Well, success for me, mate, is creating more chances for the team. But as we know ourselves, mate, right, we're not blessed with goals up front. We're not. So we've said on here many times we need our midfielders to start chipping in with goals. I know Betto got 2 the other day, but regardless of that, we still need goals from the midfield. And Dye's scoring quite a few now. This fella's got an eye for goal. He can carry the ball forward, as you say. And you know what I like as well? It seems that he's got some skill, but he can be a hothead with it as well. So obviously he doesn't mind a tackle and he'll be there in the opposition's face. A workhorse for me, and he will create chances. Hopefully he'll chip in with goals. For 20 million quid, mate, with an obligation to buy from now till the end of May, if he can help us and earn an extra stay, an extra contract with Everton, then for me that's success because he hasn't got long to prove himself.
Yeah, there was rumours around the loan fee being £2 million, which you know you don't have an issue with that, do you? Really? And he adds numbers. The one thing I'd like to get cleared up is the Mangala situation, because I thought he'd gone back, and he's not going to play again this season. He's done his ACL, but I haven't heard he's gone back. I don't know if he has or he hasn't. So please correct me in the comments if there's any links to any articles. I'd be keen to see them, guys. But
I got told last night he hasn't gone back.
So if that is the case, are we going to be looking at signing Mangala as well in the summer?
Well, again, it's the same situation with him with Brozier, mate. Why would Everton terminate the loan deal because he's got injured? It's not Leon's fault that he's got injured playing for Everton Football Club. So if we send him there and terminate the loan deal, the loan contract, then they're paying full whack of his wages again. So maybe they've said to Everton, look, I'm not being funny. He got injured on your watch. He stays there till the end of the loan deal and you carry on contributing to his wages.
I'm interested to see with Mangala because even with an ACL,
mate, he's out for 8 months.
Yeah, even with an ACL, if you was to say to me, instead of paying, I think the buy option is something like 40 million. It's something stupid, I'm sure it is. If they was to say to me, Mike, in August, you can pay 15 million and Mangala will stay, I think I'd still sign him. 15 million. It's not going to do his ACL again. He was very unlucky.
It's whether he comes back the player he was, because the sort of player that he is, mate, and the way he plays the game, wouldn't take long for it to go again. There's players out there, Michael. Don't get me wrong, there's players out there who've got over ACLs. I think we mentioned them the other night. Michael Owen had one. I think Alan Shearer's had one as well. I think Dominic's had one, if I'm right in saying that. You know, yeah. Some players do get over it, but mate, it's a bad injury, your ACL, and some players are never the same player again. Even at 15 million, I'd want to see how his recovery was going and how he's recovered, what the specialists think, even for 15 million, mate, because it's not just 15 million, it's a wage. But I see what you're saying, because before that, mate, he's been absolutely brilliant. But we've got Tim back in the team now, sort of does around the same job. So why would you even waste 15 million on a player who's done his ACL if Tim can show glimpses of what we know he's capable of from now till May?
Yeah. It's just
because we are in talks with Ghana guy for another 12-month contract as well.
Yeah, it just I don't know. I just there's certain loan players that we're not going to want to sign. Jack Harrison, for me, that's run its course. That's done. I thank Jack for his service, but there's no way he'll be an Everton player next season. Broja, I don't think we're going to have seen enough of him to want to sign him. And for 30 million, which I think is there by option, I don't think that will happen either. Lindstrom.
I think we sign Lindstrom.
They want 20 million for him, don't they?
I think we sign Lindstrom. I think he's been a lot better under David Moyes, mate. I'm not saying he's the answer to pushing us for trophies and competing for Europe and accelerating the club to brand new heights that we haven't seen for years. Not saying that. But I do think he's looked a lot better under David Moyes. And for 20 million, and I know I'm saying I probably wouldn't sign Mangala for 15 million, but Lindstrom hasn't done his ACL. And for 20 million quid, mate, let's just see how he goes to the end of the season. But if he carries on with the form that he has, and the way he's been playing, and he looks confident from now till the end of the season, for 20 million quid, mate, I'd probably go with it. Don't get me wrong. You give me the Jesper Lindstrom under the previous manager, mate, and I wouldn't give you £2 for him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But under David Moyes, I think we've seen a different player.
The other one that I think will be interesting is obviously Alcaraz, and as we've said, we've spoken about him, but it's going to be interesting summer. It's going to be an interesting summer because we've got so many players out of contract. Calvert-Lewin, Michael Keane. I mean, there's an endless list. There's an endless list to Corey, blah, 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 blah. I am interested to see what the summer looks like, I must say. I'm actually excited. I mean, it's almost going to be like a game of FIFA, isn't it? Where you go out and you sign loads of players, etc., and just hoping David Moyes can make them gel. But I am excited about the summer.
I'll ask you a question, seeing you're always firing them at me. What do you do with Calvert-Lewin?
I'll let him leave.
Apparently, the contract that's on the table is £140,000 a week. Now, do you reckon he could be back for the last month of the season?
I'll revoke it.
I
know it's heartless.
I'm not being funny, mate. You say it's heartless. Don't you think he's being heartless towards Everton when all the injuries he's had and Everton have nurtured him back and he scored 10 goals in 8 years or something like that? Or average 10 goals. What is it?
7 goals a season.
Average 7 goals a season, and he's refused to sign the contract that's been on the table for a big pay rise because he thinks he's better than what he is. And then the move to Newcastle fell through because of his wage demands. But he's averaging 7 goals a season. Not being funny, mate. If I wouldn't call Everton heartless and for revoking it when he's treated the football club like that.
Yeah, but that's my point. I was just about to. So I'd revoke the contract and I'd let him leave in the summer. Yeah. If no club comes in for him, I'll let him train on the facilities, just like we did with Dele Alli. But Calvert-Lewin for me is not. People were saying in the comments about me going Richarlison, and I do get it because at times Richarlison sulked and he sometimes didn't quite look like he was on it, and sometimes he looked moody, etc. But you could give me the left foot of Richarlison over a whole Calvert-Lewin and I'll take it. Calvert-Lewin for me works hard. You and me sort of had different opinions when he was playing at the start of the season, and that's fine. I thought he was very isolated. You thought he was probably lazy. But the one thing I would say is I just don't think he's at the level that Everton will want to get to. And I don't think he's at the level that the Friedkin group will want to get to. And therefore, I don't think he'll stay.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, mate, as you say, he's out of contract and he's had a purple patch. He scored a couple of goals this season, but going forwards under a new manager, under a new ownership, going into a new stadium, pushing on, probably having the biggest summer we've had for a long, long, long time. And I just think you can't rely on Calvert-Lewin to give him a contract like that, to keep him, and then not to bring another 1-2 strikers in, possibly 3 strikers we probably need. I just think giving Calvert-Lewin another contract would hold us back in that position going forward. You can't rely on Calvert-Lewin to take you. Relying on his goals, you can't rely on him to take you to the next level.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, so bear with me, people.
Brilliant. This is brilliant viewing this.
Hey, don't be so rude. There you go. Right. Can people actually see that?
Fucking hell, I can just about see you.
Brilliant. Can you see that?
No.
Well, you won't be able to because you're looking at a screen, but the people on the channel will. So this is Calvert-Lewin's injury record, right?
It's like fucking Guy Sports News, this.
Brilliant. And when you actually break it down, how many games and days injured he has had since 2021, he's had 145 days, 223 days, 51 days, and so far this season, 20 days. Now, I'm not being funny, but that is scary.
It's not someone you can rely on to score goals consistently, is it?
It's not, I mean, the injuries here, back injury, bruising, muscle injury, hamstring injury, broken toes, other hamstring injuries, knee injuries, hamstring injuries, fitness issues, broken cheekbone. He did that playing football. I don't have an issue with that one. But some of these injuries...
I'm not being funny, mate. A broken toe, 9 out of 10 top footballers, Premier League footballers, play with a broken toe. Mate, Dion Dublin played years ago for a couple of weeks with a fucking broken neck.
The one thing I would say, John, this is only on Transfer Market, so they're not going to know the full details of these injuries. This is just...
The broken toe's a broken toe.
Brilliant. So the point I'm making is the injuries that Calvert-Lewin has had have been so regular and so consistent that I think I would worry about signing him anymore.
Yeah, totally agree.
And if you go on that website that I've just been on, everyone, you'll look at his transfer value, what they believe his value to be. Now, at his peak, they think the value was 45 million. He's currently valued at £20 million, and I just don't see how.
I don't think you get 20 million quid for him, mate. Even if he was fit, I don't think you get 20 million quid for him.
I just don't get it.
Before he started having all these injuries, right, Arsenal were very close to putting a £40 million bid in for him. And that was probably around the time. Listen, you can believe that transfer value as much as you want. But that's probably around the time he was valued at 45 million. And Arsenal wanted him for 40 million quid. Now, I don't even think he's worth 20 million now.
No?
I really don't.
No, not do I.
It doesn't take you to the next level with the injuries like that and where this club wants to go to now, mate, under new owners and a different manager. You just can't rely on him to score you enough goals to take you to the next level. Because while he's playing, another striker's not playing. So for me, it just takes a place up in the squad. If you're going to retain him for whatever reason, when he's not going to consistently be fit enough, have a run of games and score enough goals to push us up that league.
Yeah, don't disagree. Fine, right. Okay, we will leave you to it. I mean, what we should have done is check out Betto's injury record, really, shouldn't we? Because if If he gets one, woohoo! Amari Benjamin, in you come, my friend.
Well, we did say to you today, didn't we? If Betto did get injured, we might have to rely on him. Well, listen, I think Everton only needs another 3 wins. So let's worry about the Betto injury if he gets an injury.
Betto's injury record's actually unbelievable.
Like, bad.
Like, sensational. I mean, literally, he's had 4 injuries. He's had 6 days off at Everton. I mean, I just can't fault him.
Mate, well, I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, I know people are going to drop in the comments, well, he might have got injured more if he played more. But you don't know that. You don't know that. Me and you had this conversation this morning, Michael, about Betto. I think we can rely on him. Unless some little knobhead comes flying through him and does his cruciate or his ACL or breaks his leg, you know what I mean? Then that's just not down to him. But for picking injuries up, as in a normal way, whether it be your hammy or anything like that, doesn't really happen to him. And you can look even at the clubs he played for before he come to Everton. Don't think he had many injuries there neither. So let's just keep our fingers crossed until Brozier, if he comes back, and Calvert-Lewin, if he doesn't break down again, and Chimiti comes back. Let's just hope Betto can keep us going until then. If not, as you quite rightly point out, it could be Amari Benjamin drafted into the squad. Well, he has been in the squad a few times, but probably getting more game time.
Yeah, or Sheriff. Well, cool. We will leave it there. A lovely little 37-minute video. I don't even know what we spoke about. We just rambled, really. Just rambled. But we did do it delightfully well, didn't we? Did you agree, John?
We always do. Best YouTube channel out there. We are being noted.
I was just brilliant. I was just about to say the same thing. Best YouTube channel out there. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe, guys.
Can we just share something with you as well? Michael's looked at January's viewing figures, and it was 160,000 views we had off you lovely people in January. Michael thinks it's the most views the channel has had in 1 month. So it wouldn't be possible without you people. Them numbers blew me away. So thanks very much, because it'd be pointless doing this content without you people. So again, thank you.
Yeah, he's spot on. Yeah, it was something like 165,000, and you can't quite see the months and things, or there doesn't appear to be an app or whatever that shows me the month views per the channel, but I don't remember it ever being that high. So your love, your support, your everything has been absolutely immense this month. But it just sets me and John a challenge, really. We've got to do it again for February, and then for March, and then for April, and onwards and upwards. So every like and every subscription to the channel really, really does help. So if you can do that, share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues, your enemies, your pets. Put Blue Boys Network on for them when you go to work, and we will soothe your cat down thoroughly.
We will calm your pussy so much it'll fall asleep.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Right, there you go. Hope you've enjoyed the content. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe for about the 17th time tonight. Up the toughies. I'm going to go get ready for football. John is probably going to fall asleep on the sofa. See you soon. Peace.
Cheers.